I want you to raise your hand if you are jealous type. Right. Merry Christmas, you dumbass niggas. You know, I strongly considered getting the actual mask that Tom Cruise wore, and not the actual mask, but there are Etsy artists and people alike who make replicas from this film. The same thing for the priest or the black feather woman. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna hold you. You know, I almost dropped it. I almost dropped a few hundred on one of these masks, but the thing is my mouth would be covered, and I didn't want to go through the whole mic situation. Like in my older videos, I would hold the mic in my hand. I don't do that anymore. I have it rigged up above me. And what they did when they made the film, they had an earpiece and they had a lav mic on underneath their mask so they could capture the dialogue, of course. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful replicas. Oh my God, like I honestly might get one just to have in my room. I don't know, I'm still debating on it. But for the time being, you know, this is what we got, this is what we rocking with. I'm gonna pop out at the orgy. I'm at the party, and this mask, Eyes Wide Shut, is a 1999 erotic psychological drama directed and produced by the late Stanley Kubrick. He also co-wrote the screenplay along Frederick Raphael. The story is inspired by Arthur Schnitzler's book, Tromnoville. The film stars Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, who famously at the time were one of Hollywood's hottest couples. Honestly, so proud of my girl from getting away from that man. Hey, look, if you know, you know. Whenever I think about them as a couple, all I can think about is those paparazzi pics that they took of Nicole Kidman when she had left I think she was like leaving the divorce attorney's office and like it was finalized. I'm sorry, this is what freedom looks like, okay? This oh God, that's another problem we gonna have. You know, I laugh like 50,000 times in my videos if you're new here, and this mask is gonna be sliding around on my face. I do not remember the first time that I watched this film. Like I truly could not tell, but what I could tell you was how it made me feel, right? And how did it make me feel? Violated. No, I'm kidding. But it was like this odd sense of this state, maybe I should say, of like being transfixed. I'm quite vocal about my adoration for 2 a.m. films, which is a little subgenre that lives in my head and which can best be described as those surrealistic pictures you come across late at night, where there's just something off. We follow a successful doctor who, after his wife confesses to contemplating on cheating on him, goes out into the night on a strange journey of trying to prove something to himself, embarking on a night-long odyssey through New York City, trying to confront desires, jealousy, and also stumbling across some sort of secret society. And you know what? I'm not gonna even front and act like another big, massive reason that I love this film is the mystique and like the theories that surround this film. I mean, damn, it's been, what, 25 years since this film was released, and, you know, just like many other of Stanley Kubrick's films, we are still dissecting this. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman signed open-ended contracts agreeing to work on this project until Kubrick released them from it, no matter how long that turned out to be. Filming started in November of 1996, and reshoots were still being carried out into 1998. Are you serious to me right now? A world record of filming for more than 400 days. But you know, this was Stanley's swan song to say, you know, he presented this film, the final cut, to Warner Bros. And then 4 days later, he died. Cast, crew, friends, family, like everybody around him said that, you know, there was nothing wrong with him. They didn't see anything wrong with him. And with all the theories and like symbolism that this man is known for, and especially the theories that go into this film, like I'm sorry, I want answers. I want answers. I want answers. There's a big theory that after Kubrick passed away, the studio cut the bitch up and took out 40 minutes, all having to do with the occult scene in the middle of the film. And that's one of the biggest rumors. I don't like this. Me do not like this. Cause what you mean he died 4 days after showing the studio before the film came out? Yeah, let's get into this. Let's get into this. So go grab a mask and a cloak, make sure it's ermine, and meet me outside by the limo. Because tonight, I'm taking you, where the rainbow ends. The film opens right on Nicole Kidman getting undressed. We're just, setting the tone from the jump, aren't we? And we're gonna have to get used to seeing her body. I mean, obviously you can't say this is YouTube, I gotta sprinkle it out.
Nicole, nice to see you. Welcome to London.
Thank you.
Wearing your clothes for a change as well.
Funny enough, Stanley had watched films like Fatal Attraction, Basic Instinct, Showgirls, which I've done a video on. Check it out. During the editing phase of the film to see how explicit he could be with the R rating that Warner Bros. Was forcing upon him. Our protagonist is a Dr. William Harford, but we'll know him as Bill. He's suited up and ready to go to an event, and his wife Alice is on the toilet pissing, then washes her hands for 6 seconds. You dirty bitch. They also have a daughter named Helena. We meet a man named Victor Ziegler and his wife when they arrive to this party. And I have to say, this entire setup is beautiful. All the dangling lights on the wall, along the staircase. It's quite exquisite, if I say so myself. Ziegler throws these annual Christmas parties and, Bill and Alice don't know a single soul there. Over by the piano, we see Nick Nightingale, a guy Bill went to med school with, who later dropped out. One of the band members tells the crowd that they're gonna take a 10-minute break, so Bill tells Alice that they should say hi. But Mama's gotta take another piss. Go piss, girl. Even though she took one before they left. What were you drinking, Alice? Or do you have a UTI? What have you been doing? They agree on meeting at the bar and Alice cuts a corner, chugging a glass of champagne. The boys have a warm welcome after 10 years and grab a drink, but a man quickly comes and collects Nick. So Nick tells Bill if he doesn't catch him later, he's gonna be in the village for 2 weeks at a place called the Sonata Cafe. Come holla. Alice is by the bar waiting, having yet another drink, goddamn, and there's a man next to her staring right through her soul. I don't know how she did not feel that. I always know when somebody's looking at me. She sets her drink down and the guy grabs it. So she's like, "Oh, Poppy, I think that's my glass."
Oh, I'm absolutely certain of it.
I'm still soft. Was that supposed to be smooth or something? This is a Hungarian man named Sander Savist. He starts asking Alice if she's ever read the Latin poet Ovid on the art of love, asking if she's here with anybody, and Boozy Mommy's like,
well, yes.
"How sad," he says. But Sander is sure this husband's the sort of man who wouldn't mind if they danced. Why the hell did I say it like that? Anyway, they start dancing together. Sander starts asking Alice a bunch of questions, and we start learning things about her, she's currently unemployed, and she used to manage this art gallery in Soho, but it went broke. Sander says that he has friends in the art game, and perhaps he can be of some help. Right. But at what cost? Alice turns her head, seeing Bill chatting up 2 young models, and Sander asks if she thinks one of the charms of marriage is that it makes deception a necessity for both parties. And she laughs in his face, as would I. I'm sitting here, champagne running through my veins, and you sitting up in here throwing philosophers and quotes in my, your pretentious ass. You're not slick. We see what you're trying to do. Sander's like, "May I ask why a beautiful woman who could have any man in this room wants to be married?"
Why wouldn't she?
Over by Bill, these girls are quite tipsy, and the one in silver tries refreshing Bill's memory when she was doing a photo session in Rockefeller and had something in her eye, and how Bill was such a sweetie pie, giving her his handkerchief, which was also clean, mind you. Sander asks Alice if she knows why women used to get married.
Why don't you tell me?
Right, because you just trying to slide in this gingerbread kitty. Sander says it was the only way women could lose their virginity and be free to do what they wanted with other men. The ones they really want. Both of these girls are on Bill's arms, talking him up about what's so nice about doctors. And do you know what that is? That they're... I can't even get it. It's so stupid. I can't get it out. It's that they're so knowledgeable. Airheads. She says they work too hard. Just think of all the things that they miss. Bill is cheesing hard as hell. Look at him, asking where these ladies are taking him.
Where the rainbow ends. Don't you want to go where the rainbow ends?
That's when the same man from earlier asks Bill to come with him because Mr. Ziegler needs him. And Bill says, to be continued. Oh my God, look at these stairs. Wow. I mean, electric build, I'm scared to look at it, but imagine the pictures. Ziegler's in this huge bathroom with a girl that's passed out on a chair. Oh my God, what did this pig do? This girl is Mandy. She was shooting up heroin and Coca-Cola and had a bad reaction. Bill manages to get her to come back to conscious. Meanwhile, Sanders telling Alice how much he loves Victor's art collection and more importantly, his sculpture gallery. We know where this is going. He asks her if she would like to see it.
Maybe not just now.
Girl, what the hell does that mean? Mandy now has a blanket on, fully aware of her surroundings, and Bill tells her that she's a lucky chica and she can't keep doing this, advising that she go to rehab. Ziegler thanks Bill for saving his ass and tells him that this is just between us manly men. Grr. When the music changes, Alice admits that she's had a little too much champagne, blame it on and she should go find her hubby. But Sander grabs her, pulling her back 3 times, mind you, saying he must see her again. She's like, that's impossible, SpongeBob, because I'm married. Then she kisses her finger, pressing it on his lips. Later that night, there's a moment where the married couple make out in front of the mirror in their bedroom, but little Alice's mind is elsewhere. Uh-oh. The next day, we see a montage of both Bill and Alice's life. Bill's day is seeing patients of various ages. One is a woman who's topless. Alice has mommy stuff going on at home. We end up seeing her naked body for the 3rd time in the film. And Nicole has a beautiful body. I don't like pointless nudity. By the way, this is another thing too. You see how I said this is the 3rd time? We're only 20 minutes into the movie. I should let it go though, because honestly, Stanley was very respectful with Nicole about the nudity. He basically let her know how much he wanted to show, and he asked her if it was okay. She had the power to say, I don't want that much in there or this much, so props to her. Props to both of them. Oh shoot, and that's another thing. I said that we're 20 minutes into the film, and guess how long this film is in total? This movie is around 2 hours and 40 minutes. That night, Alice goes in the bathroom medicine cabinet and grabs some boo-boo bandages where inside she's got some hidden Mary J. Blige. And she rolls up with Billy Boy. So let the confessions begin. Cue Usher. After hitting the J, she's like, tell me something. Those 2 girls at the party last night, did you by any chance happen to them? Bill, of course, is like, Mommy, what are you talking about? They're just some models. So Alice asks where he disappeared. Bill starts kissing all over her, saying that he went to go help Ziegler. But anyway, who was that Euro that you were dancing with on the floor? And this makes her cackle. Yeah, you ought to laugh. When Bill asks what did he want, Alice says that he wanted to stuff the kitty, the gingerbread house, the red velvet cake.
I guess that's understandable.
Understandable.
Oh shit, here we go. Now, Bill says that it's because Alice is a beautiful woman, so she's like, whoa, wait, hold on. Getting off the bed asking, so because I'm a beautiful woman, the only reason any man ever wants to talk to me is because he wants to fuck me. Is that what you're saying? Ooh, she's got a point, but also you might be overthinking, put the joint down, calm down, it's not that deep. Bill says it's not that black and white, but I think we both know what men are like. So Alice says, okay, on a basis then, I should conclude that you wanted to fuck those 2 models, right?
There are exceptions.
See, now I'm on Alice's side because no. What is you talking about? When she asks what makes him an exception, he says it's because he's in love with her and because they're married and he would never lie to Alice or hurt her.
That is not correct.
Alice is not having it. She's like, you're telling me the only reason you wouldn't fuck those 2 models is out of consideration for me? Not because you really wouldn't want to? Bill tells her to calm down because the pot is making her aggressive. And she's like, nah, fuck the pot. It's you fucking muppet. Why can't you ever give me a straight fucking answer? She pulls an example out, such as some gorgeous woman in Bill's office, right? He's feeling her tits and Alice wants to know what he's really thinking about when squeezing them. So let's hear it. Let's hear it. Bill says that I'm a doctor, Alice, and it's all impersonal. There's always a nurse present, you know that. But more than that, this is a female patient, and I'm sure that sex is the last thing on her mind because women simply don't think like that. And she got his ass. She's like, million years of evolution. Yeah. Men have to stick it in every place they can, but for women, it's all about security and commitment and whatever the fuck else.
If you men only knew.
Billy Boy raises his voice saying, I'll tell you what I know. You smoked a little Mary J. Blige and now you getting froggy and trying to pick a fight and make me jealous. Bill claims that he's not a jealous person. So Alice is like, okay, you know, like, why have you never been jealous about me? And you know, I'm sorry, I just have to laugh. You know what Bill says? He says, I don't know, maybe it's because you are my wife. Maybe it's because you're the mother of my child, and I know that you would never be unfaithful to me.
You are very, very sure of yourself, aren't you?
No, I'm sure of you.
Alice literally starts busting out laughing at this, and after she's done having her fit, she asks Bill if he remembers the previous summer that they spent at Cape Cod. One night in the dining room, there was a young naval officer sitting near their table, and the waiter brought this man a message, at which point he left. And none of this is ringing a bell to Bill. Alice says she first saw him that morning in the lobby checking into the hotel, following the boy Bell with his luggage to the elevator. Now this officer just glanced at Alice as he walked past. Just a glance, nothing more.
But I could hardly move.
Oh my god, this monologue, this scene actually is so good. That afternoon, Helena went to the movies with her friend and both Alice and Bill made love. They made plans about their future and talked about Helena, and yet, at no point was he ever out of Alice's mind.
And I thought if he wanted me, even if it was only for one night, I was ready to give up everything.
Ooh. She said, I was willing to give up my entire fucking future. She was willing to give up Bill. She was willing to give up Helena.
Everything.
And yet it was weird because at the same time, Bill was dearer to Alice than ever. And at that moment, her love for Bill was both tender and sad. Damn. Alice barely slept that night and she woke up in a panic because she didn't know whether she was afraid that the soldier had left or that he might still be there. But by dinner, she realized that he was gone.
And I was relieved.
I mean, how do you even react to your spouse saying this to you? In preparation for this real-life couple, Stanley joined psychoanalysis sessions with Tom and Nicole, where both of them confessed their fears about relations and their real-life marriage. Nicole said it was so real that it blurred the line between them and their characters. They both took a vow. Until this day, neither of them have openly stated what they discussed in these sessions. The phone rings about 5 times till Bill answers and is told about a man named Lou Nathanson dying. So he's got to go over there and show his face. Through his cab right there, all he thinks about is seeing a visual of that naval officer all over Alice. We meet Marion, Lou's daughter. Now, while Lou is laying in the bed, dead, Marion tells Bill all about the day and how she discovered him. Her stepmother is in London, and her fiance, who she's marrying in May, is named Carl, and he's on the way. I'll just get this out the way. She has a crush on Bill. And the performance is honestly so subtle in the pacing of how we get there and start to realize, like, how she feels about him. It's so well done. She tells Bill that Carl's a professor, he got a job out in Michigan, and Billy Boy says that that's fantastic. He's like, Michigan is a great place, and this girl just starts sobbing, and then she...
I love you.
Oh boy. Wow. And what makes this crazier is, as I said, this like brilliant nuance to her performance, and how it's like that we as the audience, like, you know, be like second by second, we slowly start to realize that she has feelings for this man, and then she kisses him. And not only are you starting to understand the themes that this film is playing around with, marriage and infidelity, but she kisses him like 5 times, and Bill does not pull back at all. Oh. Marion says she doesn't want to be with Carl, and even if she was never to see Bill again, she wants to at least live near him. And he's like, baby doll, you know, you're just upset, you're grieving. But Marion's like, no, daddy, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Bill is like, girl, we barely know each other, right? You know, I don't even think we've had a single conversation outside of your father. She says, I love you for the 10th time, just as the doorbell rings, and it's Carl who comes in, and oh my God, Marion like hesitates kissing him. It's so uncomfortable. Anyway, Bill gives his final condolences and goes for a walk. Stanley Kubrick has a major fear of flying, therefore this entire film was shot in and near London. They had these elaborate street sets built at Pinewood Studios to mimic New York City and capture Tom walking about. It's done incredibly well because I had no idea. There are even shots in here of him walking in front of a projector, like what the helly? Billy Boy walks the New York City streets, passing a couple making out outside his shop, getting more flashbacks to Alice and the naval officer. Get used to that as well. Then he turns the corner, approaching a group of young 20-something guys, and we can hear a dude yapping about some girl with a red rose in her mouth doing a Mexican lap dance. What the hell are you even talking about? Get a job. And out of nowhere, one of them says to Bill, what team is this switch hitter playing for? I always forget about that word. I'm sorry, I love that word, switch hitter. Like, that is crazy. Bill deliberately moves out the way as these guys call him a shoulder checking him against a car. It's so over the top, you know, like they're slapping their butts, and like, what are you doing all this in a Yale varsity jacket? Be for real. This scene always confuses me because I'm like, what about this dude is dressed, well, okay, that's a bad example. I was about to say this dude is dressed like Patrick Bateman.
Right.
But no, he looks like Patrick Bateman, you know, just clean cut Wall Street dude. He's a doctor, but you know what I mean, rich guy, trench coat, like there's nothing, you know, queer about him. So why the hell are they throwing out the slur and like hate criming him? I don't know, but I have a theory about this actually, but we gonna talk about that later. Bill is about to cross the road after traveling a few blocks, and we see a girl in a fur coat. This is Domino, you know, like the pizza.
How'd you like to have a little fun?
Uh-oh. She says she lives only a few feet from where they stand now, and her roommate is gone, so no one will bother them. And guess what? He goes inside with her. Underneath her coat, she's got a purple ensemble going on. With this hair, she's giving me Daphne realness. Bill asks if they should talk about money, and she says that depends on what he wants to do. Bill asks her, what does she recommend? And she's like, I'd rather not put it into words. You freak monster.
How does 150 sound?
Sounds wonderful.
Back in 1999, this was about $300. Alice is back home eating cookies and milk, having a cigarette, watching an Italian film. Meanwhile, Bill and Domino are slow kissing, deep staring into each other's eyes. But right before they get down to business, Bill's phone rings and he cuts off the sexy time music. It's Alice on the other end. And she's like, you know, hey, I'm your wife, so when you gonna bring your white ass home? This joker is whispering that it's a little difficult to talk right now and it could be a while. So Ali says she's going to bed. He technically didn't have to, but Bill thinks that it's best for him to leave, and although they didn't bang for bucks, he still gives Domino $150. I'm also going to point out that she initially rejects, like, you know, we ain't do nothing so you ain't got to, but he gives it to her and he says, no, I want to. While on the way home, Bill passes the Sonata Cafe and sees Nick's picture on the outside, so of course he's gotta go in and see what's poppin'. This jazz club is such a vibe. It's still on my bucket list to hit up New York late at night, find a nice like low-key underground jazz club, get a nice suit, a hat. I need to live the fantasy. So if anybody's in New York, you know, give your man some recommendations. Help a brother out. Bill has a seat at a table right when the set ends, and Nick gets on the mic to spit, introducing the band with a little tune, and he tells the crowd that they're gonna be here for the next 2 weeks. So do stop by. Nick orders orders a vodka tonic after sitting down with Bill, and the fellas update one another on their lives. Billy's been married for 9 years, 7-year-old daughter. Nick has a wife and 4 boys in Seattle. And so now you think, what the hell is he doing all the way out here across the country? Well, as Nicky, little Nicky says, you gotta go where the work is. This jazz band is just a pickup band for him. Nick says that he plays with anybody, anywhere, and he's actually got a gig tonight. But these people only ever get started around 2 a.m. because it's in a different place every time, and he only gets it about an hour before the event.
What's the big mystery?
Hey man, I just played the piano.
Bill is confusion, as we all are, and Nick confesses that he plays blindfolded. Bill thinks he's joking, but Nick says that last time, my friend, the blindfold wasn't on so well, and oh man, Bill, I have seen 1 or 2 things in my life, but never anything like this, and never such women. He went to a freak off. I know it, I just can't prove it yet. Nick's celly goes ping ping, and he starts writing on a napkin as Bill puts his hand on the other end to steady it. And we see the word fellatio. Ain't that a Harry Potter spell? Fidelio is actually the title of Ludwig van Beethoven's opera, his only one as a matter of fact, and it's about a woman who disguises herself as a man to save her lover. And specifically with the word Fidelio, it has Latin roots, fidelis, which means I'll tell you later. Bill raises the napkin asking what the helly is this, and Nick says, well Poppy, it's a Beethoven opera. Cut the shit. It's actually a password, and when Nick tries to leave, Bill says that there's no way on earth he's leaving tonight without taking him with him. But this is a very, very, very private, freaky event, William. Are you up for that? I mean, Bill's already got the password, so just slide your boy the address and he'll go there by himself. And boom, there won't be any connection between them in case Nick gets in trouble. Nicky tells this creep he couldn't get in anyway with his clothes because everyone is always costumed and masked, asking where is he gonna get a costume at this hour of the morning. You must have forgotten you talking to a wealthy white man in New York City. He knows everybody, okay? Bill hops out a cab to a place called Rainbow Fashions, buzzing the man on the intercom for help. Now, he's looking for a man named Peter Grinning, who's the owner of Rainbow Fashions, and this is one of his patients. But too bad for Billy, because Peter moved to Chicago a year ago. Mr. Millage is now the shop owner, and Bill persuades him to let him rent tonight because he offers $200 extra over the rental price. Bill requests a tux, a cloak with a hood, and a mask. He's guided all the way to the back room, and at one point we hear a noise, where in another room there's a couch with clothes thrown around, and there's Chinese food. Then we hear a giggle and discover an Asian man hiding behind a rack of clothes with makeup and a wig on. What the f***? What is going on? He starts saying he can explain, and then a girl stands up behind the couch, and this is Mr. Millich's daughter, who is not given a name. And then another man stands up. What? And okay, bro, I want prepare yourself, okay? If you do not know, prepare yourself. This girl in the film is a minor, and in real life, the actress who's, standing here in a bra and panties, she's 14 years old.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
The men say they were invited by the young lady, and Millich is yelling that she is just a child, and he's gonna call the police. Millich starts calling his daughter a little whore, chasing her, but the girl runs behind Bill. Millich locks both men in the room and orders his daughter to go to her room while he serves this customer. When Bill leaves in the cab, he's still having flashes of Alice with this goddamn naval officer, and he's taken all the way out of town into the boonies at a place called Somerton, where there are 2 men standing at a gate. His cab ride was $74.50, or $145.85 today, and Bill gives him $80, but he also promised $50 over the meter. So he pulls out a $100 bill, rips it in half, and says if homie waits for him and lets the meter run, then he'll give him the other half plus the meter when he returns. Bill gives these fellas the password and they drive him up to the house. So Not only are you talking to these two men at the gate without a mask on, but he also passes like 3 more people until he steps foot in the house. Still no mask on. Out of context, why do I sound like I'm talking about the pandemic? He's greeted by a man in a gold mask as soon as he walks into the house, and we start hearing this unsettling chant that is going to be playing on and off throughout this entire sequence. The man asks for the password, then takes his coat. Mask is still not on. Anyway, he steps into the main room, and everybody in this motherfucker is wearing a black cloak besides the person in the middle who's holding a censer, as in an incense inside a ball with a chain. And he's chanting. I'm sitting here at my desk editing this, and I just like it can't just be me. Like you're crazy. This is crazy, right? I just no. And I'm a very curious person too. Like I love an adventure, you know, like I'll do things for the plot of it, but like no. I would have gotten my black ass out. I would have hopped in that motherfucking taxi. That's what I would have did. And got the fuck. This music that's playing was composed by Jocelyn Pook and is a fragment of an Orthodox Mass that's being sung in Romanian, but it's also being played backwards. Do I have to spell this out for you? Loosely translated, the lyrics go something like, "We still pray for the mercy, the life, the peace, the health, the salvation, the scrutiny, neglection and forgiveness of the sins of God's servants, worshippers, almsgivers, benefactors of this holy site." There's also another line of the chant that says, "God says to his followers, a new commandment I give to you." Again! Playing backward. Get my fucking holy oil. Over by the end, Nicki is indeed blindfolded, playing this spooky organ as the red man hits the stick 2 more times and all the women remove their cloaks. I am having flashbacks to my Showgirls video. There are so many titties in this movie. Love that. But you know, for me in post-production editing this, that's not fun. That's not fun. That's a lot of work. Every single person at this party has a different mask. Like there are no identical ones. Then in this whole circle with all these naked women, they all go like counterclockwise and they kiss each other through their masks. 2 people in masks at the top level turn and look directly at Bill, and the presumably male one nods at him. Then one by one, the priest, the red man in the middle goes to each woman and he slams the pole down, and they each like go find a man to go, you know, mess around with. And how they do it is they walk up to the man and then they kiss him through the mask on the lips. Now the woman with this black feather headpiece on goes after Bill, and when they exit the room, she says, "I'm not sure what you think you're doing, but you don't belong here." Bill tries to play dumb, saying that she's mistaking him, and she's like, "Please don't be foolish. You must go now." After Bill asks who she is, the woman says it doesn't matter. Billy is in great danger and must get away while he's still got a chance. There's a man who comes up behind this girl and tells Bill if he would be kind enough to excuse them for a moment. Speaking of moments, these next few moments, I absolutely cannot show, like, it's a little bit too much. And yet, you know, the fact that I say that, and yet it's like, honestly very tame. Like it's really nothing really crazy is honestly happening in this scene, but for YouTube, no, this is a big no. We watch Bill walk through various rooms in this mansion. You know, various people are getting it on. One room, there's this dining table and it's a bunch of women just, you know, how do I say it? You know, moving together, if you will, and all the people in the black cloaks are watching. It's happening in multiple rooms. Very weird. Very weird, right? You know, I mean, I guess there is no shame, because with something like this, it's anonymous, obviously. Everybody's wearing a mask, so it's like, but I don't know. Personally, I would not be able to do that. You know, like I don't know where you guys have been. You know, I don't know who you are. right? I doubt this is like the adult industry where, you know, they are required to get tested. So I'm good, shawty. I'm good. At one point, we see the same guy who nodded at Bill earlier. He comes in with a woman and he like nods at the woman to go collect Bill, to go, you know, entertain him, if you will. But then right after that, the black feather woman, she comes and basically does exactly what that other stranger did with her. And she pulls Bill away. Does that make sense? I'm making this all sound way more complicated than it. All you need to know is the woman with the black feather, she finds Bill and she grabs him again. She's once again telling this orgy virgin he doesn't realize the danger he's in and Billy Boo cannot fool these people much longer. He's still trying to find out who she is and she's like, it don't matter. He asks if she can leave with him and she's like, no, because it would cost her life or his. She rushes away as one of the yes men enter, asking Bill if he was the gentleman with the taxi waiting, because his driver is at the front door and would urgently like a word. Inside of what I believe to be the most beautiful room we have yet to see in this mansion, a man escorts a blindfolded Nick out while couples slow dance on the floor as Strangers in the Night plays. And funny enough, although every pairing we've seen has been straight up until this point, the biggest couple in the frame is both two men dancing together, and by the door there's also two women together. The man who collected Bill doesn't even take him to the front door, guys, okay? They got his ass, okay? What would you guys do? By the way, that 6-note piano, that plays like on and off throughout the rest of the scene. Actually, it plays throughout the movie a few times, but in this scene, like, I'm scared. Who else is scared? We see different shots of all these masks before the red man asks Bill to step forward. And as he does, they close him in the circle. The red man asks for the password and Bill says, Fidelio. And homie is like, that's correct. That's the password for admittance. But may I ask what's the password for the house?
Okay,
Have you guys seen that? Have you guys seen that video when that woman is in, she's like interviewing like a random stranger and she asks her to name 3 black people?
Do me a favor. Name 3 of your favorite black people. Point taken. I have autism, and so whenever you ask me a question like that, I immediately forget like everything. Sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you so much.
Like, no, like that would have been me. When you said password, I'd have been like,
Muhammad Ali.
Point taken, right? Bill's like, actually, I have seemed to have forgotten the password, Miss Mama. And everybody in the room starts murmuring. The priest says that that's unfortunate. And frankly, it doesn't matter whether he knew it or not. Solemnly demanding Bill to remove his mask. And he does.
Now, get undressed.
Or? The priest tells Bill to strip and show that thing, or they will do it for him. That's when we hear the feather woman at the top level yell, "Stop!" And everybody breaks their neck like Busta Rhymes. I don't like this little formation right here. You see how it's like, it looked like an upside down triangle, like they in the middle of an eyeball. Clock it. The woman is like, let him go and take me. I am ready to redeem him. Everybody is in the room whispering, gagged as hell, and the priest asks the lady if she's sure she understands what she's taking upon herself in doing this.
Yes.
The priest tells Bill that he is free, but warns this Patrick Bateman reject if he makes any further inquiries or says a single word to anyone about what he's seen here, there will be the most dire consequences for him and his family. A man collects the black feather woman and Bill asks what is going to happen to that sexy woman.
No one can change her fate now.
When Bill gets home, he hides his cloak and sees both his girls are asleep. But Alice is giggling in her sleep. And when Bill says her name, touching her, she jumps up frightened. By the way, it's a little past 4 a.m. Bill starts pressing about what she was dreaming about, and she talks about her and Bill were in a deserted city and their clothes were gone. They were naked, she was terrified and angry because she thought it was his fault, so Bill rushed away to go find clothes for them. But as soon as he was gone, it was completely different. Alice felt wonderful. She was suddenly lying in a beautiful garden, titties out in the sunlight. Then the naval officer walked out the woods laughing. Alice starts sobbing in her pillow, and Bill knows that that's not the end of the story. No, it is not, buddy. The officer was kissing her, they were making love, and there were all these other people around them. Hundreds of them, everywhere. Everyone was f***ing y'all. Then Alice was f***ing other men, losing count of how many, and she knew Bill could see her in the arms of all these men, and she wanted to make fun of him, to laugh in his face. And so she laughed as loud as she could, and that was when he woke her up. Divorce. The next day, Bill tries to hit up the Sonata Cafe with the Rainbow Rental, but they're closed. Side note, who is this cat and this Oliver Puffer? He is a cutie. Somebody find him for me, wait. Anyway, Bill stops in a place called Gillespie's Cafe next door and orders a cup of coffee, asking a waitress if she knows about Nick. And the only reason she tells this trick where Nick is because he whips out that doctor badge. Get your mind out the gutter. So Bill hits up a hotel, and I'm gonna show my hand right here. This is my favorite scene in the movie. Alan Cumming, love him. He plays the front desk clerk. The clerk tells Bill Mr. Nightingale already checked out around 5 a.m. So Bill asks if the clerk noticed anything unusual about him when he left. Bill is showing him his ID, and the clerk looks down. He's like, well, Bill, there was something strange about the way Mr. Nightingale left. Yeah. He then leans forward in the most unserious way. Oh my god, it's so good. Telling Bill that Nick came in around 4:30 this morning with 2 men.
Big guys.
He's like, I mean, they were very well dressed and very well spoken, but you know, they're not the kind of guys that you would want to mess around with.
If you know what I mean. Anyways.
The clerk noticed Nick had a bruise on his cheek and even admits that he looked a little scared. Nick said that he wanted to check out, so he went upstairs with one of the men and the other one went and settled his bill. When they came back down, Nick tried to pass the clerk an envelope, but they saw it, took it away, and said that any mail or messages for Nick would be collected by someone properly authorized to do so. Then they took him off in a car. Bro, look at the way that the clerk is looking at him. I can't. Bill thanks him for his time, and he's like, oh, sure. Anytime, Bill. Billy Boy returns to Rainbow Fashions to return his rental, but the mask is not in the bag. Just throw it in the bag. Bill tells Homeboy to put it on the bill because he must have lost it. So $150 for the rental, $200 for his trouble, $25 for the mask, so that makes $375. With inflation, over $700 fucking dollars. What the hell? Was it worth it? $700 to gear to go to an orgy where you ain't even getting none. You ain't getting no ass. His daughter comes out the side room, oh my god, once again in her bra and underwear. Millage asks what she needs. Why are we being so calm? Why is she dressed like this early in the morning? Millage then tells her to say hello to Bill, and right after the 2 men whom we saw the other night come out fully clothed, and they tell Millage that they will call him soon. Then say goodbye to the girl, and one of them blows her a kiss. Millage says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, then gives Bill his receipt and says thank you for the business. This little girl is just looking straight through Bill, smiling, and you know, Bill is like, last night you was gonna call 12, you was gonna call the popo. So, and this gross ass man is talking about things change. They have come to another arrangement. Oh, and by the way, if the good doctor himself should ever want anything
at all, it needn't be a costume.
Wait a minute, hold up!
Oh my god. Bill is once again visualizing Alice getting stuffed by this military boy because he's forever traumatized from her confession. And later on, one of his assistants come in to give him his tuna sandwich and black coffee, and Bill asks her to clear his schedule for the rest of the day and collect his whip out the garage. His Range Rover out the garage, okay? Bro drives all the way back to that mansion where we hear that 6-key piano playing. He's looking through the gate and notices a camera following him. So a car drives all the way up through the driveway to the gate and the passenger holds out an envelope. Bitch, what the fuck? Then homie hops in the car and leaves. Not only does the envelope have his name on it, so they all know who Bill is, but inside it reads, "Give up your inquiries, which are completely useless, and consider these words a second warning. We hope for your own good that this will be sufficient." Well, after coming home, Alice and Helena are doing homework at the table. Bill greets them and grabs a beer from the fridge as he starts hearing Alice's dream in his head about the hundreds of people around them screwing. Then he goes back to work in his office, still having visuals of her in this office. We get it. We get it, bitch. I'm losing patience, okay? And Bill's got the chops to pick up the phone dialing for Marion, but her husband Carl answers, and he doesn't say anything but hang up. The hell was you call? Would you was gonna call her because you want some fish? You want some fish? Is that it? Bill takes a cab to Domino's place, but she's not home, and instead her roommate Sally is there. Sally recognizes him as the Bill, aka the one who was here last night, and she invites him in. Checking this rich man out, you know, looking them eyes is laser. She's scanning through his pockets. Sally's got no idea when Domino will be back and says, to be perfectly honest, she may not even be coming back, period. The hell going on here? Bill starts unbuttoning her top, ready to get down to business. Don't even know the girl, but you know, he just, you so mad over out that you freak monster now. You know, you just want to get it in anywhere. Huh? While he's trying to get freaky, Sally is like, LOL, Poppy, I think there's something I should tell you.
She got the results of a blood test this morning, and it was HIV positive.
Oh, babe, this could have went south so quick. Remember, this is 1999. You know, we had AZT to treat HIV, which came out around, I think it was like 1987. But the first drug to prevent, you notice how I didn't say treat, that's AZT. Treat, the first drug to prevent was Truvada. And guess when that came out? 2012. On Bill's walk home, he's being followed by a baldy, so he's spooked, trying to haul a taxi, running across the street to get one, but the driver yells, "I'm off duty, f*** it." Just kidding, he didn't say that word. Who else is scared? Bill buys a newspaper at this stand, and the man walks across the street, stopping at the end, just to stare. Then he walks by. Bill goes inside a building called Sharky's and orders a cappuccino to collect himself, opening the newspaper he just bought, where he reads about an ex-beauty queen who OD'd. And look at that first paragraph. What do you notice? Her name is Amanda. Mandy. Bill takes a cab to the hospital, showing off his badge, requesting to visit her, and we learn she died this afternoon around 3:45 p.m. So he visits her body and very nearly gives her a kissy on the forehead, but stops himself. And that's when Bill gets a call, summoned to Ziegler's crib, although it is late at night. Let's cut the shit. You know, it takes Ziegler like a whole 3 minutes to get to the point, but he knows that Bill went to the party and he knows what's going on after. Oh, Ziggy Zig thinks Bill's got the wrong idea about some things, asking, you know, what the hell were you thinking showing up, yada yada. He thought to himself, how did Bill even get past the gate? But then he remembered seeing Bill talking with Nick. So he put two and two together, right? Bill says it wasn't Nick's fault, and Victor is like, well, yes it is, boo, because if he never told Bill, then this wouldn't have happened. And Ziegler was the one who recommended that little wee sucker to those people, and he's made Ziggy look like a complete a-hole. Bill says he didn't know Victor was involved in this, and Victor is like, yeah, I know, but you know what else? I know that you went to the hotel and talked with that clerk this morning. Ooh.
How do you know that? Because I had you followed.
So you're an op. Ziggy says all they did was put Nikki on a plane back to Seattle, and he's probably back with his family banging Miss Nick. Tell another lie. Tell another. I'm not buying this.
The clerk said he had a bruise on his face.
Okay. He had a bruise on his face.
They killed this motherfucker. Ziggy says if he told Bill these people's names, which he's not gonna do, then Bill wouldn't sleep so well at night. Oh, and the second password was what gave Bill away. But it wasn't that Bill didn't know the password. It was that the password doesn't exist.
The limit does not exist.
And of course, it didn't help that these people arrived in limos and Bill showed up in a taxi cab. Or, you know, when they took his code and saw the receipt made out to the rental house to you know who, dumb bitch. Bill tries to bring up the feather woman who tried to warn him, and of course Victor says that he knows who she was.
She was a hooker.
Ziggy Z is like, suppose I told you that everything that happened to you over there, the threats, the girls, the warnings, her last minute intervention, suppose I said that all of that was staged, that it was a kind of charade, that it was fake. Lie. When Bill asks why would they do that, Ziegler says because they wanted to scare him and keep him quiet about where he was and what he saw. Bill takes out the newspaper article he ripped out revealing Mandy's death, and once again, yes, he has seen her. The man knows everything. Okay, we established that Mandy was the one at the party, you know, who was sacrificed. So Bill's like, okay, Daddy-o, you know, you explain to me if this was all some fucking charade. How does this end up with somebody being dead? You feel me?
Okay, Bill, let's cut the bullshit.
He says after 8 minutes. Ziegler says the whole phony sacrifice that Bill has been jerking himself off with had absolutely nothing to do with her real death. Lie. Ziegler says nothing happened to Mandy after he left that party that had not happened to her before. She got her brains f***ed out when they took her home. She was just fine. She was just fine. And the rest of it is right there in the paper, okay? She was a junkie and she OD'd. There was nothing suspicious. Her door was locked from the inside. The police are happy. End of story. The way, is it the way? Like, the way y'all are trying to gaslight this man is crazy. This is crazy. You know? Talking about, oh, it was always going to be a matter of time with her. You remember her. She was the one with the great tits who OD'd in my bathroom. Ziegler says nobody killed anybody. Someone died. It happens all the time. But life goes on. That damn piano comes back in and we see Bill's mask lying on the pillow next to a sleeping Alice as he returns home, walking through the crib, grabbing another beer. And when he walks in the bedroom, he has a full-on mental breakdown, crying, saying, I'll tell you everything.
I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you everything.
I feel like this would have been more impactful if, one, you know, we didn't spend a whole in 60 seconds following him walk through this house and then into the room, but two, if we had not seen the mask until he walked into the room, because we see that before he walks through the house, you know? I don't know. The next morning, the couple are sitting in the living room. Alice is, you know, looking stressed out, having a cigarette, and they go awkward family Christmas shopping. I mean, damn, just look at this body language, you know? They stop in front of some teddy bears and Bill asks Alice what they should do. Alice says that they should be grateful that they've managed to survive through all of their adventures, whether they were real or only a dream. Bill asks if she's sure, and Alice says, I'm only as sure as I am that the reality of a one night, let alone that of a whole lifetime, can ever be the whole truth.
And no dream is ever just a dream.
And okay. But Alice says the only important thing is that they are awakened now, and hopefully for a long time to come. Bill starts saying, this is so funny, Bill starts saying forever, and she's like, let's not use that word. Not too much. She says it frightens her. But she does love Bill, you know, and there is something very important that they need to do as soon as possible. I'll give you a few seconds to guess what it is that they need to do. What I find the most alluring about this project, besides its surrealistic tone and after-hours quality, is all the theories surrounding what this film is really about. Stanley Kubrick is deemed the father of symbolism in the director category, and I mean, come on, look at the film's title, Eyes Wide Shut. Wake up. Screenwriter Frederick Raphael said some of the proposed titles for the film were You and Me and The Female Subject, but Stanley personally chose Eyes Wide Shut. Imagine if he was still alive and years later he made Eyes Wide Open. You got to keep your mind wide open, all the possibility. Any Bridge to Terabithia stands? You can say this title is playing on the fragility of monogamy and marriage when one of the parties are committing adultery, but this entire elite orgy sequence, which again happens like smack dead in the middle of the film, and it's almost like it's like opening up this portal, because until that point, until we get to that mansion, this is pretty much like a marriage drama. It just makes you think about all the people around the globe, and I mean, we're not even only talking about wealthy people, just people general who have everything that they deem perfect, you know, a great house, kids, pets, whatever, great job, but then there's that one little thing in the back of their mind, that itch that needs to be scratched, which would be what we call sexual gratification. During the confession scene, I do believe that the way that it is set up is you're supposed to think that Alice is like, you know, girl, you just high, you just talking, you just rapping. But she was making some very valid points. Bill saying that women don't think like men do and that they aren't horny or crave sex is absolutely ludicrous. And the idea of him believing, because again, since Alice is a woman who's married to a successful man and has a child with him, then that automatically means she would never break her loyalty.
If you men only knew.
Speaking of loyalty, Fidelio. It's not just an opera, its definition means faithful. Using that as a password to an anonymous orgy is crazy. And just also the thought that like, oh my god, like imagine being married and you find out your partner goes to like these masquerade freak-offs. I'm gonna stop saying freak offs, I promise. You know, go to these parties being a freaky frog and then you get back in the bed with me and cuddle, like, you're going to hell. I 100% believe that Alice went. It could have been the same night as him, it could have been a different night, but she went, she went. And her admitting a lust for a naval officer whom she didn't even speak a single word to, I mean, come on, like that hints to me that clearly Billy ain't doing something right. When Sander was trying to glide in the kitty, she was contemplating that too. And speaking of that goddamn Hungarian, I also believe that him and a lot of people at Ziegler's party at the beginning of the film, I think they were all there too. And that's not coming from me. Both of those are like very popular theories. I just also happen to believe in them.
Do you know anyone here?
Not a soul.
The side story with Mr. Millage and his daughter, who he openly said was underage. Like, this minor is not only an sex worker, but she is being pimped out by her daddy. Like, electric chair. The world is sick, man. You know, and all of that, everything with Millage and the rainbow fashions, all of that is our largest evidence that there is something more going on symbolically with these elites and what's, you know, behind the curtains. Because why the hell would she know that? I also believe in the theory that this is hinting that, I mean, obviously Stanley couldn't do it because, first of all, gross, but two, illegal. A lot of people think that because she said that was kind of hinting at that all the women in the circle were supposed to be minors.
If you make any further inquiries, or if you say a single word to anyone about what you have seen, there will be the most dire consequences for you and your family.
I am 100% on board with the child abuse angle in this film. I definitely think that is what's going on here. And then, you know, the biggest theory of them all surrounding Kubrick's death. If you don't know, the fans of this film, most of them believe that Stanley Kubrick had died because he was trying to expose or he was dropping hints that these elites were having minors at these parties. And I don't remember when when, but a long time ago, you know, this was just a rumor, a theory that, you know, I brought up the 40 minutes of footage that was missing. Well, babe, those 40 minutes of footage that was missing, that whole thing it was supposed to be all footage that happened at this mansion. And allegedly, I don't know if I believe this, but I remember reading a long time ago that Bill was supposed to be walking through the mansion, and you would walk through these rooms, and in some rooms that he passed, there were like pentagrams on the floor, and it was implied that these were very, very, very young girls at this event. Yikes. The whole situation is just, I don't like it. To make all this worse, the actress who played Milich's daughter, Lily Sobieski, I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong. I might be, I don't know. Anyway, that's the girl who played Milich's daughter, the 14-year-old. Well, she said like at the time, she wasn't allowed to read the script, which, I mean, why would she? She has one fucking line. But also, apparently she has this thing where every celebrity that she works with, she collects like a lock of their hair.
No.
Witchcraft, that's what I heard. That child then lost her damn mind. She asked Tom Cruise if she could have a lock of his hair, and Tom said, ass no. He might be a Scientologist, but he ain't stupid now. British author / conspiracy theorist named David Icke said in a magazine around the release that the Freemasonic mansion sequence was a mild version of what really goes on in elite society. Ziegler's party at the beginning of the film, remember Bill was being led away by those two models.
Ladies, where exactly are we going?
Where the rainbow is.
And what did Bill end up doing later in the film? He hit up a place called Rainbow Fashions, Where the Rainbow Ends. Where the Rainbow Ends is also the name of a morality play by Clifford Mills and John Ramsey. And you know what else? Rainbow is the name of a Masonic organization. While scouting the web, I did read a very dark theory about how Bill and Alice give Helena up to the cult for some type of appease or admittance ? I guess because Bill confessed everything to Alice. I don't know. I'm gonna put this user's theory on the screen because it's too much for me to read and you can form your own opinion. Though I will say the teddy bear comment low-key got me because in one frame I absolutely see it, and then we cut to Helena showing the Barbie, but when we go back, it's moved. Stanley is the definition of a go in the dictionary, look up perfectionist, you're gonna see his name. That was not a mistake. If that was a mistake, they would have did more takes over and over. He would have caught that. I mean, babe, we're talking about a man who oversees every single visual element that's gonna appear in a frame. Furniture, props, colors of the wall, all of the carnival masks in the orgy, which he tried all of them on and selected them one by one. The stories ride decades for how he works. Everything Shelley Duvall went through, RIP to that queen, on The Shining, and how Stanley drew her to psychological distress is the most famous.
But he even said roll video.
No desperation. Oh, come on. What do you mean roll
2
video?
seconds.
We're killing ourselves out here, and you're going to be ready.
I am too. I'm standing
So we
right
play
by
mood
the
music?
door. No, I
Yeah,
can't
but when
hear.
you came in like this, you should have just...
We're sitting there because they say, wait a minute, and then you say on the radio,
but when you
go.
do it, you've got to look desperate, Shelley. You're just wasting everybody's time now.
I can't even get this freaking door open. You have
Apparently, he made Tom Cruise walk through a door 95 times. It's so ridiculous. But then again, you know, Tom Cruise, like, nigga, you being paid $20 million. Like, you better do a fucking cartwheel if I ask you to. It's just incredibly ridiculous and excessive. But listen, I say that, but I also respect a creator and an artist who knows exactly what they want. What happened with Shelley Duvall on The Shine, that was way, okay, dude, somebody need to cuss him out. That was too much. But Kubrick's, like, there is a reason why people call him the best of the best, because his attention to detail and his symbolism is, like, it's unmatched. It is. Alan Cumming, who plays the hotel clerk, had to audition for this role 6 times. 6 times. Why 6, Stanley? No, I'm just kidding. But why 6? So Alan has written a couple of memoirs, and one of them is called Baggage, where he talks about his personal relationships, romance, and he goes into a lot of his career stuff in the films that he's worked on. And there's a chapter called Debauchery where he talks about Eyes Wide Shut, and he brings up when he met Stanley Kubrick. And I still, I had to pick it up. I've had this book for a while, and when I found out that he talked about this in this book, which of course he is, if that's the theme here, his career, I have not read anything else in the book. Alan, if you are watching this, I doubt you are, but if you are, I'm gonna read it, okay? I promise. I read Not My Father's Son. Excellent, recommend. But yeah, by the time it was Alan's time to shoot his scene, mind you, a 3 to 4 minute scene somewhere in between there, not only had the film been in production for over a year at this point, but Alan stayed on that set for a full week. A full week just to do one scene. He mentioned Stanley's reputation for doing take after take and how people would call him intimidating, but that wasn't the case here. Stanley liked that Alan had stood up to him, and they developed quite a strong bond when working, and they had many great chats and laughs. Okay, I'm sorry, I've had this on long enough. I have to push this up. This shit makes my nose hurt, my blinking, my long ass eyelashes. I went through all this pain for you! So on professional film sets, there are these things called clapboards. They roll the camera, then roll the audio, and then you'll hear, the classic. It's used for the editor in post-production so they know when to align the video and the audio together so everything is connected. And Alan mentions in the book how, you as an actor, the more that you hear that clapper sound, you start to feel like, you're not doing something right because you're doing take after take after take. Well, Stanley, since he does 10,000 takes of a film, he doesn't use clapboards. His sound guy is like sitting in the corner of the room, and he would like whisper the take number into his little recorder. That pressure was taken off. He said it was nice. I thought that was pretty interesting. Stanley would take Alan to the monitor, and they would watch each previous take, discussing the most detailed notions, facial movements, gestures, and he would give precise direction before they tried it again. Alan knew exactly what to do or what to correct, what to try every time they started another take, and he admits that it's very rare to find that because, he would say, a director would be like, and cut, great, let's do it again, one more. Because if it was perfect, if it was so great, then, why are we doing another? This hotel scene is in a way the only funny scene in the entire film, and Alan's performance is not just a standout, but a testament to him as an artist. You can tell how much thought was put into this because even before he says a word, we see Bill come in, the camera pans over, and we see him messing around with cards, trying to figure out what cubby to put it in. He turns around, and the way that he scans his body, we immediately know who this man is.
Excuse me. Hi. How can I help you?
The comical the giggling, it's so detailed. The famous saying, there are no small parts, only small actors. This proves that better than anything I've ever seen. I would not be surprised if this hotel clerk was one of the people at the party, because remember, we saw that one room where there were same-sex couples slow dancing. And it's funny because Alan was even worried himself that he felt like, he was like, I don't know, Stanley, I think we're kind of taking this a little too far, it was a little too gay, a little too flirty, but Stanley literally, he was like, no, amp it up more. He was like, more.
Unusual. Hey, you're not 5-0, are you?
No. I didn't know what 5-0 was. Then I realized Hawaii 5-0. That's what made me realize.
I'm a doctor.
Well,
leering.
Bill?
Sure.
If anyone came on to me like I'm coming on to him, I would be like, I'd run a mile. And Tom just stands there, implacable. We both fell about laughing at the end of each take. It's interesting that at the time, there was all these crazy rumors that, people weren't allowed to look him in the eye, and he would have a tunnel to take him from his trailer to the set, and that he was gay, and all. There was all these weird sort of myths that go around really famous people and their behavior. He was absolutely charming, completely charming. I have a pretty good gaydar. didn't get anything like that from him. And if he was a bit gay, so what? We're all a bit gay.
Well...
There are other little stories, but in the end, he says it was this precision that Stanley encouraged Alan to make every second he was on screen count, and that reignited his interest in acting. He felt more excited by those few days of work and those few minutes on screen than he had by anything in years. As much as I think this film is fantastic, it's by no means perfect nor 5 stars. I'm gonna say it, this film has no business being this long. What the hell does this need to be 2.5 hours for? Scenes are drawn out, like the dialogue is just said very slowly, like it just takes so long to get to a point. It bothers me, but then there are certain scenes where it works for me. I don't know how to explain it. All this along with the fake backdrop of New York City, all the set designs with the various scales of Christmas lights and decor, it's just gorgeous. Like, of course we would go through this family conflict on Christmas, right? We supposed to be holly jolly in this mug. I'm also such a sucker for dual tone lighting and this blue cast that's always coming from out the windows. It just really tickles my pickle, I was trying so hard to see if I could explain the characters' names or find some meaning, because initially my mind goes to like say Alice, right? Alice in Wonderland. What's in Wonderland? That damn orgy. Her dream where she said she was screwing a bunch of men while he watched. I mean, come on. Domino, the SEX worker, Domino's Pizza, the domino effect. This girl is clearly some sort of decoy or pawn. She's gotta be. Bill, while it's short for William, he's gotta be named Bill because, he be spending dollars, right?
Right.
He's wealthy, which is why Ziegler low-key trying to recruit him for his little Masonic and Illuminati-esque activities. Or is this a jab at Bill Clinton? Mandy, short for Amanda, the woman who was slumped in the bathroom and dies later in the film. By the way, the girl on the operating table when Bill visits her is played by a completely different actress. Like Stanley really, he really tried to throw us off there. And people also speculate that Domino is actually Amanda. I don't know. My fucking head hurts. But okay, let's think. The Harford's daughter's name is Helena. Come on now, that's the Greek goddess of beauty. Also, low-key feel like there is a parallel being made between Mandy, Milich's daughter, than Helena. They're all like redheads and like it's like different ages, kind of like a loss of innocence. But what the hell does Mandy? What the hell does that mean? Handy Mandy. She, for a good time call Mandy, cause she comes in handy. What? I'm sorry. I mean, she did come in handy. She saved Bill. I don't know, man. I need a, what time is it? 12:30. I need a blunt. Actually, no, I don't, because then I'm really gonna be off the rocker. If I did this while I was hot, this would have been a whole conspiracy video. I would have pulled out a big ass whiteboard and everything. They killed Stanley.
They killed Biggie. They killed my boy Biggie. They fucking killed Biggie.
One thing that came to me on this specific viewing that I really didn't even like bother to entertain, but I think that Bill could possibly be struggling with his sexuality. Now I'm gonna go back to that scene where those college kids call him the F slur and holler at him to go back to San Francisco. It's all just way too random, and we know by now that Stanley is not random. And again, what about him looks queer? And my personal headcanon, my little theory here is I think that this is not the first time they've seen him. There is zero evidence supporting this, but first of all, let's, I don't even think I pointed this out when I talked about it at first, but Bill is standing like 200 feet away from him and they immediately call him out. If this was a stranger, you would not that doesn't make sense to me. So what I think happened was, I think that before this film began, maybe one night, I think that Bill probably paid a guy for a night, or maybe he had some company. No, he paid for somebody. Okay, I think him and some midnight cowboy were walking down the street, and these guys passed them, and they got hate crimed, and they saw Bill again on this night by himself. Immediately recognized his little Patrick Bateman ass. But yeah, Bill very much could have been unfaithful faithful to Alice before the film even began. But it's only when Alice confesses that she almost passed that threshold that Billy Boy starts glitching, because, you know, women don't do that, bro. And the queer hotel clerk and the deliberate choice of Kubrick to push Alec and to make him flirt with Bill. Two instances where we are bringing up a queer narrative. I want answers, man. I want answers, and we're not gonna get them, okay? We're not gonna get them because Stanley is long gone. So I've accepted it. This feature seems to blur a line between what's real, what's imagined, and what's meditated by this doctor's mind. Having your eyes wide shut is a state of being, a willful blindness to the realities of not just what your partner may or may not be engaging with, but the entire world around you. And Alice made Bill open his eyes that night she confessed on contemplating leaving him and their child. This all, though, could very much be a psychological projection of Bill's jealousy and fears. We aren't for sure if the entire events of the mansion, both times that he went, actually happened or not. All the mask symbolism and these characters hiding behind them, anonymity, duality, a repressed self, the entire mystery of the man in the red cloak, who a lot of people claim is either Ziegler or Sander. It's all so fun to theorize about. Sexuality's got a lot to do with what's lingering in the New York City air, and the hidden world of the elite seems to be the top of it, lifting a cloak on a secret life that these wealthy people indulge in, where they live by a different set of rules and morals. The universe is so funny because, of course, all of this starts happening right after Alice's confession, right after he roams the streets looking for something freaky to get into because this man's poor little ego is wounded and he needs to seek his own adulterous opportunities, but he's blocked numerous times. What is Stanley saying about sex in the modern society? Is it a source for connection, alienation, or an instrument of power? Confession feels like the big statement here. The film seems to be suggesting that confronting some truth, some fantasy, no matter how ugly, is a necessity for a marriage to survive. Personally, I couldn't tell you how I would feel if years into a marriage, my spouse said only last year that they nearly decided to leave me and everything behind. And though I've picked on Dr. Bill for constantly thinking about it, I mean, come on, man. That's gonna be in the back of anybody's mind for the rest of their relationship, therapy or not. Ignorance truly is bliss, my friends. But for the sake of our own sanity, should we wake ourselves up and see how deep the rabbit hole goes, or lie in a state of serenity and keep our eyes wide shut? What do you think about Stanley Kubrick's erotic drama, Eyes Wide Shut? Leave your opinions and theories in the comment section down below. If you're new here, I urge you to subscribe. It would be my pleasure to have you. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and turn on that bell notification so you don't miss a new video. In the meantime, my friends, take care of your mind, take care of your body, take care of your spirit, and remember to keep your eyes wide open.